Good morning, Facebook. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm a little nervous to share with you guys today, and that does not happen very often. Normally, I'm pretty confident and excited to share with you guys, which I am excited. Anxiousness can mean excitement, but and fear can also mean excitement, but it's just, I don't know why I feel a little bit nervous to share today. But if you guys are jumping on live, say hello. Drop a 1 in the comments below so that I know that you are watching. If you are watching the replay, drop a 2 in the comments below. So today is kind of an exciting day, and it's kind of crazy to look back and see how far and how much my life has changed in 3 years. And so I kind of wanted to just jump on and share my heart with you. Hey, Kara, how are you? Share my heart with you, share a little bit of my story that I haven't told in a while, and just maybe give you guys some hope. You know, have you ever heard somebody say hope is not a strategy? And I used to say that myself. I used to say that all the time. And I actually had somebody come to me one time, and I made a post about or it was like a video. This was years ago. And I made a post saying hope is not a strategy. And I have to say that 3 years ago, when I decided to surrender and take my life back, which I'm going to talk about in a second, hope was my only strategy. That was the only thing that I had in order to decide to draw a line in the sand, decide to say enough is enough and I want my life back. So I'm going to share with you guys my story today about my Adderall addiction. And if you guys have any questions at all, I am a completely open book, so you can go ahead and drop the questions below and I will answer them for you. So we can reverse it back to, we'll say back to when I first had my first son, and right before I started coaching. So when I had my first son, I was super, and I've talked about this before, so it's not anything I haven't shared, but I don't know why, it's making me nervous. Anyways, I had my first son and I came home from the hospital. I felt horrible in my body. I didn't have much self-confidence before I got married, because I got pregnant right after I got married, and I kind of didn't really feel good in my body either. I had gotten in an accident. I wasn't able to work out. All these things happened. And so with my first son, I gained 65 pounds or something crazy like that. And I wasn't prepared for what happened to my body after I had my son. I was super excited to have him. I don't know why, I knew I was gaining weight, but I wasn't mentally preparing for what was going to happen when I showed up and my body was looking that way. Hey, Lisa. And so, as soon as I could, I went to a weight loss clinic after I had my first son, and they put me on phentermine, and I was on that for a little while. I lost the weight, and then I found coaching, and I got off of that, and I started using our programs and our nutrition plans and stuff, and was able to keep the weight off. And then I got pregnant with my second son, and as soon as I had him, I got off and I went right back on that, and I was able to lose the weight. But that time, the weight loss clinic that I went to, which is actually out of business now, they kept me on this drug for a year, which is something that you're not even supposed to be giving to people who are not that overweight, right? And so I stayed on and off that for a complete year. Then I got off of it, and I trained to run a half marathon. And I trained to run that half marathon. I did that half marathon. And then after that, actually it was in the middle of my training, some things started happening. I started to lose my hair. I started to not be able to focus on things. I started to be tired all the time, but I could never sleep. All of these things were happening to me. And I remember it was November of 2014. And I just had a mental breakdown. I could not even focus to put the dishes away. It took me an hour to unload the dishwasher at one point. And I just remember going out to lunch with my husband, because I was I can't focus on any work. I can't focus on any of this stuff. Let's just go out to lunch. And so we were sitting at lunch, and I was just I have to do something, because I can't live like this. My hair is falling out. I cannot focus on anything. I want to cry because I can't complete any kind of tasks that are going on. I'm tired all the time. What's going on? So I went back to the weight loss clinic that I went to was actually a walk-in medical place. And so, and I heard some friends that had gone there and actually got put on Adderall, and that they were feeling much better. And so I was okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to talk to them. Maybe she'll run my blood. Maybe it'll be something else. No, as soon as I walked in there, she's like, well, it looks like you have been on phentermine for so long that you probably have ADD and you were probably just medicating yourself with the phentermine because it's a very similar drug if you've ever been on either one of them. And so she was like, you don't really want to be labeled ADD, so why don't we just put you back on the phentermine for a little bit, lose the 10 pounds that you need to lose or whatever, and then we'll go from there. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Like, let's do that. And a little bit of like back history, like years before that, I had actually gone, and I had told her this, like, there was a time where I had gone on antidepressants because we were going through a really hard time, and I was able to work through that and get off of them. And so maybe the fact that I told her that, she was like, well, this will just be a time period where she can go on this and get off. Well, I ended up going on that. I ended up losing the weight, getting in the best shape of my life, as I would have said back then, and feeling great. Like, I had energy, I could focus, I could do all the things, my brain was on fire. And so when I went back to her, I was like, okay, I've lost the weight, I can't keep going to the weight loss clinic, like, what are we gonna do next? She automatically put me on Adderall. She never did any kind of blood test, she never did anything. And so for the first couple months, like, things were fine. I mean, I guess you would say things were fine, except for I wasn't eating at all. I would have to like drink a bottle of wine to go to bed. And then we ended up going on a trip that I had earned. And at that trip is when things really started to take a bad turn. We were around, like, I didn't feel like I could be around people unless I was high. Like, I thought that little orange pill gave me everything that I needed. It curbed my appetite. It made it so I really didn't have to work out. I would like literally record workout videos where I would do a few moves, but I would never do the workouts because I was afraid that my heart was gonna jump out of my chest and that I would have a heart attack. So I wouldn't do that. It helped me after a night of drinking. I would feel great because I would just pop an Adderall and I would feel good again. Like, there was literally like no hangover. I would be able to stay up late, wake up early. I would be able to do all these things. And also it gave me that my brain was on fire and all of these ideas were happening and all of this stuff was happening. And I felt like it gave me the confidence to speak in front of people because I've always been very, very shy, very quiet. And I didn't have that self-confidence. And I'm like, this pill is magic. It is giving me everything I need. And so we went on that trip and I was super excited to take my husband because it was the first time I introduced him to like my Beachbody family and all this stuff. But I was still that shy little girl. And I thought the only way that I could communicate or talk to people or, you know, be in front of people was for me to continue to pop those pills. And so that trip, that's what I did. I just continued to take them like, I don't even know how much I took, but that was the first time that I actually took more of my script than I was supposed to. And when I got back from our trip, it was awful. I was having withdrawals. I obviously took too much. So then I had, you know, nothing else to take. It wasn't like I could get another script or whatever. And so that started the cycle. That started the cycle of me taking half of my prescription in 2 weeks and then being miserable for the next 2 weeks. And that went on for a good year. By the end of 2015, I was so deep in this addiction. I had ruined relationships. I had missed out on time with my kids. I had talk about being selfish. Like, I talk about how being selfish is good. I was being selfish in the wrong ways. Like, I was not taking care of myself. I was not taking care of my mental state, nothing. Like, all I lived for was that pill. All I lived for was the next time I would get my script, or how would I lie to the doctor to get more that month, or whatever. Like, that was my life, like, continuing on and on and on. And as this started to really spiral downward, like I said, I started to lose relationships. I started to lose my business. I started to feel like a fucking fraud every single day that I came on the internet and spoke, because I was not living my truth. I was not living the things that I was saying. Like, it was fake as fuck for a really long time, you know? And it just got to the point where I actually talked about this with my team this weekend, where I continually hit this goal. Like, we have a goal that we have to hit in our business. If you guys are in network marketing, you guys probably have something each month, like milestones that you have to hit in your business. And I was at a point where I almost hit this goal for 24 months straight. So for 2 years straight. And that last month of December of 2015, which would have been the 24th month, I just gave up because I was so into this addiction that I didn't care about anything else. Like, that was it. And I remember, and I have my journal from 2000, like around Christmas to New Year's of that year. And in my journal, I just wanted out. Like, I just wanted, I fought so, like, I thought that this was giving me everything I wanted, but it wasn't. It was taking everything away from me. And I felt like crap. My hair was falling out. My skin looked like shit. Like, I had the sunken in bags, like all the things, right? And I just wrote for pages and pages and pages. And it was just like, get me out of this. How do I get out of this? Like, I'm done. I'm better than this. And then each month, the same thing would happen. I'd be like, okay, like, I even at one point switched from taking like the regular release Adderall to the time release Adderall. Cause I was like, if I have the time release Adderall, then I'm only going to take one and then I'm not going to continue to take the other. Or like, I won't take more. Well, that didn't happen. I just stayed up for 2 weeks and then, was down for 2 weeks. And so May came around and I was just like I was at my breaking point. I didn't know what to do. I had lost all of my team. I didn't have very good friendships. I knew that I was missing out on my kids' stuff. I knew that I was probably pissing my husband off, although he supported me through the whole thing. He was probably the only one that knew what was going on. And then we went on a family trip up to Utah, and I barely had enough to make it through the trip, but I didn't stop me from taking more. And it was on this day last year that I took the last Adderall, and I remember laying up in bed at the hotel that night just thinking, I am done. Like, I am drawing this line in the sand and I am done, and I need to figure this out. I need to do whatever it's gonna take. Like, you've already lost a bunch of business. You've already like destroyed your body. By this time, I wasn't maintaining the best shape of my life. My body was fucking inflamed and it was horrible. And I just kept thinking, well, if I could just get on it and I could stay on it the right way, then I would get back into the best shape, right? And so that was like the constant for me. It was a body image. I thought it would give me self-confidence. I thought that it would allow me to get all the things done. And when in reality, I would get fucking nothing done. Like, it was like a fucking tornado all the time. And so that night I was like, enough is enough. I'm done. I am going to find my way out of this. I don't know what that looks like, but I am not going backwards. And so that night I actually found my naturopath online, and I made an appointment with her. We were in Utah, and so I had to wait until we got back to actually go see her. And I went to her, and I didn't actually tell her that I had an addiction to Adderall. I just told her, I said, I just got off of it. This is the way I'm feeling, all these things. And she listened to me. Unlike that doctor 3 years before that, did not take time to listen to me. She actually sat there and listened to everything that I had to say. And she's like, okay, we're gonna run these blood work, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna help. We're gonna get you help. And so it was just a process from there. It wasn't easy. Like, it was the hardest time of my life, especially when you go from like having something that was controlling your appetite to gaining like 20 pounds in a month. It was like, it hit me so hard. But now when I look back at it and I see like the reasons that I went through this and the reason why I had to like gain the weight. My body needed to gain the weight. Let's put it that way, because it needed to have some actual nutrition put into it. It needed to heal itself from all of the damage that I did. At the time, I didn't see that. And at the time, it was a constant like, okay, how am I gonna get this weight off? I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, hypothyroid. How am I gonna heal that? How am I gonna do this? But I refused to turn around and go back, because I knew that if I wanted something different, I had to do something different. And I knew, well, I guess I didn't know that until like now, but I just was like, how long is this going to take for me to feel better? How long is this going to take for me to get my life back? How long is it? And that would be a constant thing. I would try all these things. I tried the keto diet for a really long time. I tried, AIP for a while. I tried all these different things because I thought that I was like trying to heal the outside. But in reality, I needed the time to heal the inside. So one of the best things that I did do right after I quit, and actually we had this plan before I actually quit, was that me and my husband went to Tony Robbins. We went to UPW, and that was probably a month after. And I honestly think that if I wouldn't have gone to that I might not have made it to now, to 3 years later, to where my life looks like completely different than it did back then. And it's funny because like we get caught up, and I get caught up too, and like okay, I'm not where I want my life to be. I'm not, like, I look at people online and I see them making this amount of money or doing this and that and everything. And yesterday it was like, why are you even comparing? Like, you don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Like, look at how far you have come. And it literally took me till about this past January where I looked at my husband and I was like, my brain, oh, the dog is moving my thing. My brain is back. You guys, that's like 2.5, almost 3 years to where I actually felt normal again, to where I actually felt like my brain was working properly. And I was only on it for a couple years. Like, I can't imagine the people that are on it for a really long time. And I know that there's people out there that need it and whatever, but I know a lot of people who are on it that do not need it. And so anyways, you know, we want these right now results, and we compare ourselves to where everybody else is, but we always forget like how far we have come. We always forget that we are not seeing what everybody else is going through behind the scenes. Like, it took me a year to even come out and talk about this. Like, that was the hardest video I've ever done in my life, was like just to get online and share, and nobody knew. My mom knew, a couple of my good friends knew, but like the rest of my family had no idea. Like, I just went on live and I shared, but I will continue to share because I know that there's women out there who have gone through the same thing as me. I know that there's women out there who struggle with body image issues, which was a main part of my addiction. And it finally, 2.5 years later, finally, I'm recovering from those body image issues, and I'm finally able to teach this to my clients, to where you can feel free from having to look a certain way. You know, I think that we try to change our outside so hard. Like, not everybody, but there are women out there who are only focused on changing the outside, and in the inside, they destroy everything. They destroy everything from their health to their relationships to their relationship with themselves. And it's just a constant circle that happens, and it's hard to get out of. And I understand that, but I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a way to get out of it. There is where you can take these steps and you can feel good in your body. Am I the smallest I've ever been, or like the leanest, or the best shape, or whatever you want to get? Like, what does that even mean, right? Like, no, I'm not. I'm proud. Like, you know, I don't even know. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I quit weighing myself because that doesn't matter. The size of my clothes doesn't matter. I buy things because they look cute and I feel good in them. I don't care what the number is. I don't care what I look like on the outside, because for so long, that's all I cared about. And for so long, that took me to a very, very dark place that I never want to go back to. And it's taken time, and it's taken a lot of inner work and a lot of personal development and a lot of leaning into the community that I had. I swear to you that coaching saved me. The people in my coaching world may or may not have known what was going on, but they were there for me. I had somewhere to go, and that's what gave me the hope when I was stuck in that hope. So I started this video out by saying, we hear this all the time, that people say that hope is not a strategy. But I am here to tell you that 3 years ago, hope was the only fucking strategy that I had. And hope is what got me to this point in my life where I feel like I have my life back, where I feel like I can be present with my kids, where I feel like I have control over my destiny, where before I didn't. And so if anything, if all of this message gets to you, is that if you are in a dark place, no matter if it's dealing with addiction or anything else, like there is hope out there. There is hope for you to have a better life and to come out of whatever you are in. And I know surrendering sounds like the craziest thing that you can possibly do, but I can tell you that it is what will get you your life back. The hope and the surrender is what gave me my life back, and just putting one foot in front of the other and not looking back. It's not easy. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's better. Like I was joking yesterday with my mom and my aunt. I was like, oh, I looked up on my memories on Facebook came up, and I was like, oh, tomorrow's like my 3-year anniversary or whatever from Adderall. And my mom was like, oh, we like you so much more. And I'm like, I like myself so much more. Like, that is what we should be striving for, right? Like, we should be selfish in taking care of ourselves in the way that is allowing us to be better people. Not necessarily selfish the way I was when I was addicted, but that is what I want for all of the women that I help. I want to empower you to like yourself more. That is what is important. All right, that phone has been ringing off the hook, so I gotta go check those messages. But I hope that this has inspired you. I hope that this has helped you in some way. I hope that just you guys know, like, my inbox is always open. I have people write me all the time. I do not judge anybody for whatever they have been through, because I've been there and it sucks, and I didn't have that hope. And this is the one reason why I will continue to share what I share, because I remember spending hours on the internet searching for somebody that had a story like mine. I was searching for hope. I was searching for the person who had made it through to the other side, and I couldn't find that person. And so I decided that if I couldn't find that person, that I would be that person for everybody else. All right. I hope you guys have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.